So currently I'm still overweight, but I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I was on the journey to becoming pre-diabetic. I had anxiety. I was stressing a lot. So I knew at some point it was time to switch up the lifestyle a tiny bit. So I went from being obese to a little overweight while also struggling with hypertension, high cholesterol, almost becoming pre-diabetic, having a little bit of anxiety issues from stress and having heart palpitations, you name it. So at some point I knew there would be a time where it was time to switch up the lifestyle. I knew it was time to lose some weight. I knew it was time to switch up the dietary plan that I was currently doing. And I just knew that it was time to really focus on my mental and physical state. And so what I ended up doing was dropping at least 40 pounds, getting my blood pressure, sugar levels, and cholesterol in check within the last few months. So I'm gonna share with you how I got my health in check. Now, my overall goal wasn't really to lose weight. It was just to feel better. Now, I'm actually kind of confident and I'm happy with the weight I was at before losing 40 plus pounds. For me, it was more like I just wanted to feel better in the mornings. I wanted to have a better blood pressure level and better sugar levels and stuff, because I was literally developing health anxiety. So for me, I just wanted to just adjust a few things, and if I lose weight along the journey, then that's a win-win too. So here are some few key points that got my life together. So first thing was quitting alcohol. Now, right after Memorial Day weekend, I thought it would be a great idea to do a 30-day no alcohol cleanse or a detox, or just going 30 days without any alcohol. Now, just within 2 weeks, I noticed an incredible difference in like my overall mood. I noticed a difference in just like my blood pressure started to drop a little bit. So just from no alcohol for 2 to 3 weeks, I've already started to notice like my mood changes and how I slept and stuff like that. So 3 weeks turned into a whole 30 days, then 30 days turned into 60, 60 turned into 90, celebrated my 100 day with no alcohol, and now here we are in November, my 5th month of no alcohol, and I'm feeling great, and I'm still losing weight. I still feel great. I have occasionally a little bit of anxiety here and there and stuff like that. Not every day's perfect. I'm human. But just not drinking for 5 months, I feel like has definitely had a major impact in my productivity. I feel like I've been a lot more creative and just more alert and more energy. I wake up ready to rock and roll. As I mentioned earlier, sleep's been great. So I definitely think just not drinking has been a key point into just my overall mental and physical state within the last 6-7 months. Now, another thing too that I think kind of contributed to just this new way of living has been keeping processed food and no added sugar to a very minimum. Now, I've been only doing no added sugar for, let's just say, 2 months. Ever since I left Europe on our trip, I got sick. And then during that time of being sick, I decided to just go ahead and do a no added sugar, which eventually turned into trying to keep carbs at a very minimum. Now, with not drinking alcohol to also not doing any processed foods and doing no added sugar, wow, I've noticed a lot of weight dropping like immediately. Like, I decided to do no added sugar for 2 weeks, and let me tell you, I lost like 10 pounds in 2 weeks. It was crazy. I don't know if it was just like I was holding water weight or what it was, but it dropped off tremendously. It was crazy. So not only was I doing that, I was working out a little bit, and I think the combination of no alcohol, working out, plus no added sugar, and keeping and then also keeping the processed foods and the carbs at a low, but not like super low. I think that contributed to just being able to lose weight and all that good stuff too. So I think just no added sugar. You'll be amazed on the effects sugar have on you. Like, it's so crazy. And just not having sugar for 2 weeks was honestly a great experience for me. And then I think the third key component for just this massive transformation and over the last 7 months, especially the last 2 months, I would say keeping the carbs low. Now, not keto low, but just like going about 100 carbs, 100 grams of carbs a day, I think is a little bit low, considering I used to eat 250 to 300 grams of carbs. And this is a combination of all carbs, refined carbs, like grains, all that stuff. So just keeping it at a minimum, adding in more like healthier stuff, healthier fats. I am still getting protein in, of course. And then when it comes to carbs, definitely like the veggies, the fruits, the nuts, stuff like that, definitely helped with my health. And I think with that, and then with the carbs being at a minimum, I think my body was able to burn off more fat because it wasn't storing the fat. And I think it also helped with my cholesterol because I'm not really adding in all these high cholesterol foods. Now keep in mind, when you do low carb, you do tend to want to eat more meats or more things higher in fats and protein. But luckily for me, I was able to drop my cholesterol level at actually a normal level, as well as keeping my blood sugars and my A1C level actually went down a notch, which I'll share my vitals with you here shortly. But I think also just keeping a low carb thing was really cool and beneficial to my physical health transformation. And then also, I think what helped was honestly just having a positive mindset and just keeping the mental state good, because I was adding in all this extra stuff in my lifestyle, like exercise and being able to minimize the sugar intake and also not drinking. I think that just helped with like sleep and helped me wake up less stressed and being able to handle more client work without becoming stressed, and being able to just handle real life situations without becoming super stressed. And then having all this extra energy, I just felt like having all this extra energy made me more productive, and I was able to get a lot more stuff done, and I can just feel it. Before we move on, I also want to talk about some of the apps that I use, because there's a few apps that I use that really keeps me up to date on like maybe what I'm eating or how my blood pressure is, or like like how what's my mood like, so I want to just kind of talk a little bit about those just real quick. Like, I know for one, I'm definitely using my MyFitnessPal because it keeps up with my weight progress. I can actually put in like how much sugar I'm eating or how much fiber am I getting that day. I input all the things that I'm eating throughout the day, so I can kind of just see my macros, like what's the percentage looking like for fats, proteins, and carbs, and where's my fiber coming from, where's the cholesterol coming from, and what are my saturated fats looking like for the day. Being able to just keep track of that is great and it's very beneficial. I also have a blood pressure monitor. I use the Omron monitor I also have the app for it, which is super cool. So I can just go and take my blood pressure, and then once I take my blood pressure, I can take it to the app, and then it just updates everything. So that way I have a whole list of like what my averages are, or I can show that to my doctor and be like, look, this is my history of all, so I don't have to write it down and stuff, So being able to just have quick access to that it's been so amazing. Then another one that I use is obviously my Apple Watch. I like being able to go and use the fitness portion of my Apple Watch and knowing when to stand up every 10 minutes to the end of the hour, So being able to stand up and being able to see how many steps I got, or just see what your workout looks like or where your heart rate's at, So it's kind of nice to be able to take advantage of the Apple Watch. And then I have an iPhone, so I like being able to take advantage of inputting my vitals and all that stuff into the Heart app. Which is amazing, because not only does the Heart app sync up to like my MyFitnessPal and it syncs up to my Apple Watch, it also syncs up to my Omron. So I can also I don't even have to input my blood pressure readings because it'll sync it to the Heart app on your iPhone. And then I also discovered this other app called Welltory. Now that app kind of gave me a little bit of anxiety, so I don't use that one as much, but it does tell you like how stressed you are or what your blood pressure look like. Again, this app is also syncing everything from the Heart app, from the Omron. So when I if I take my blood pressure, it'll send that info to all those other apps, including Welltory. So Welltory will tell you, oh, your blood pressure's good, or oh, it looks like you have a abnormal heart rate, or your heart rate seems this and that. So it's really cool. Again, that one's a little bit more stressful because that one gives you a little bit more details. All right, so to get back to it, I just want to just throw in a little bit of setbacks that I had in regards to just the whole idea of. So not only are there goods, there are also some cons. Not only are there pros, there are also some cons. There's some setbacks, and I want to also share the setbacks. So the first setback is obviously getting COVID back in late August. Getting COVID in late August, it kind of it kind of put a couple things on hold, like being able to work out when I want. Like I didn't, and in fact, I didn't do any exercising for at least a month. So because of that, I felt like my weight progress slowly became reliant on just what I ate. So being able to do the low carb thing, I was kind of dropping a pound or two a week, but I think it would have been a little bit more consistent if I was continuing with my workout and I was a little less sedentary. I was a little bit more active, but because I had a lot of long COVID symptoms, being able to be more active, it just took a minute. So I would say in October was when I was able to get right back on track and start working out and actually being more me. So it took me a good month and a half to really get back into the routine. So COVID did kind of put kind of a tamper on like being able to stay consistent with the weight in the health progress. But just because I was kind of not working out, I still kept my eating habits at a good stand, you know. So, but now that I'm back working out, I feel great. It's a good experience. And then just dealing with like, you know, late night cravings, maybe some food restrictions when you go out. That's been kind of a challenge and a setback. But again, I do everything now in moderation. Even if I want to grab a drink, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I feel like I can go out and grab a drink, but just because I haven't been drinking, and it's just like I haven't been drinking for the last 5 months, so it's kind of like part of my routine. I haven't really been having cravings for it. But even if I did, I feel like I can have one beer and then call it a day and then move on and be like alcohol free for the next 4 months. Who knows? You know, I'm human. I have cravings and stuff from time to time. I still haven't really dabbled into added sugar stuff or high sugary foods, but if I want a candy bar, I'll eat a candy bar. No biggie. And then another thing with the low carb thing was like, I think I did almost hit borderline ketosis because I was like literally eating like very, very low carbs for the first 2 weeks of that no added sugar thing. And I noticed like I was getting constipated. Like I had a severe case of constipation to the point where I was freaking out. I had major health anxieties over it because I thought like something was wrong with my kidneys or something was wrong with my intestines or my colon. I was freaking out. And I'm still young, so I was still like Googling, YouTubing. It was crazy. I was getting a little too much into it. So that's why I upped my carbs a little bit, because I felt like for me, I just needed a little bit more. I just needed a little bit more fiber in my diet, and that's my only way of getting it without taking supplements. Was like, let me just up my bean intake or some high fiber foods, because that it wasn't worth that feeling that I was getting. And then other than that, I think because my blood pressure is so optimized now, and I'm on blood pressure medication, so they had me on two. They had me on amlodipine, and they also had me on some hydrochloride or whatever. So I am taking two blood pressure medicines. So sometimes I feel like my blood pressure may be a little too low, and sometimes I may feel a tiny bit lightheaded, but that's every so often. And it's been actually more frequent recently. So that's something that I've already told my doctor about, and we're going to see what I can do. Maybe there's other issues, but it's like I said, it doesn't happen all the time. It's just, you know, like for example, a few days ago, I was feeling it, but I was also a little anxiety, a little anxious. So I don't know if it's coming from a high stress and anxiety. Who knows? But it's been a little bit better. Also, a setback sometimes is kind of the social life thing too, because I mean, I haven't been drinking for 5 months, and I've been saving a lot of money. And sometimes if like people want to go to the bar, it's like, well, I want to be social, but I don't want to have to sit at a bar and watch you drink. Plus, there's limitations on what I can have at the bar. So unless I'm drinking a non-alcoholic beer, or if I'm drinking some mineral water or sparkling water, then sure, that's cool. But I don't know. There's like other things that we can do that we can be social. Like maybe I'll go to my friend's house and we can hang out, play video games or whatever, or we can go to a concert, which I've been doing a lot lately. Been going to concerts. So sometimes there's more things that we can do than just go sit at a bar, which I still don't mind doing that, because I'll go watch a game or a football game or a baseball game, and we can just go hit up the bar. Again, I'll drink some soda water, or if they got food, I'll just order something and just eat and be social, watch the game, whatever. Everybody's happy. But it seems like it has been somewhat of a setback, because now it's like I'm not always wanting to go out as much. I'd rather just come home, make my own food, and just hang out. And my time is still limited because I'm content creating or I'm working with clients. So I'm still working a great deal of the time. So I am working on trying to have a better social life, but I'm still just doing content creating. Like I just feel like I just want to I just got goals. I got those milestones I want to hit, but I still want to have a social life. You know, I don't want to be successful but be alone, but be alone. Don't have any friends to celebrate the milestones with. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta remind myself to follow up and stay in tune with my friends. You know. In conclusion, just listen to your body. You know, like do things in moderation. I'm not saying that you have to quit all the things that you enjoy, but for me, the pros outweigh the cons. Like I love how I wake up and I just love how I get up in the morning and just feel super energetic. I love having a constant wave of energy where I'm not crashing up and down because of what I'm eating. You know, like I love that I feel less brain fog. Like I feel like I could just be more alert, more on point, more creative, more productive. Like I'm not going out to a bar for 3 hours when that 3 hours could be to something like creating content or spending that extra hour on a client. Or now that I got 3 extra hours, maybe I can go home and binge watch some TV with the lady. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I just feel like moderation is key. You know, I'm not saying quit drinking, but for me, I just like all the benefits that I'm getting from like a low carb diet, from eating healthier foods and stuff like that. So it just works for me.